talking all about that today.
I love it. And we are officially live. We will wait just a couple more minutes for all our friends to be here. But for everyone that's joining us on, Apple Podcast or Spotify, welcome to MaxWeb Video Podcast. Thank you so much for listening in. Today is a super special episode 13. It's going to be a really lucky one because we have Sam Robson with us. And he's going to go through his history in a few moments during his slides. But I just want to take, a minute to really thank Sam for being here. Hi, Sam. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to be here today, and we're gonna have some fun. We talk about some really important stuff.
We will. And, Sam was so wonderful to actually create some really pretty awesome slides for us. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy, pairing information with visuals, right? Big nerd over here, I admit it. It always sinks in really well when I see notes. And I actually have my notebook ready. So I'm going to take a lot of notes. I encourage all of you guys to do the same. Sam, now you have to get in the skin of the professor, right? You have to teach all of us.
Well, my dad was actually a professor for like 40 years, so hopefully some of it rubbed off on me.
Oh my gosh! Well, even better. We are so excited, and it's kind of one of my. I was telling Sam before this, so I'll just repeat it now for everyone. You guys know here at MaxWeb, we are huge nerds for making sure we have the best offers. We work with a handful of product owners that create the offers for us, or we create them in-house. And Sam is actually one of the product owners that MaxWeb stands behind. We really, really like him as a human, and he has created a really awesome offer. And I know a lot of you guys, affiliates and smaller product owners, huge super affiliates at one point have, all of us might have decided that product owners have it easy. We always think the grass is greener, right? So I really, I asked Sam to spend a bit of time to walk us through the process of what it really means to create a supplements offer. One, because a lot of you want to switch from being an affiliate to being a product owner. Two, because it always seems super easy what product owners do, right? And just in general, to get some knowledge for us, as we are huge nerds when it comes to traffic, but we need to understand the product side a bit more. Well, Sam, if you're ready, I'm ready. I'm going to say hello to everyone here in a moment. Hi, guys. Oh, so honored to have everyone live. So, Sam, if you're ready, is it cool if we pull the slides?
Yep. So, okay, can we see the slides? We're good?
They look beautiful. I like the purple.
Oh, that's our company colors. You can thank my teammate Brian I put together the content. He made the slides look all pretty and branded for us. So thank you, Brian.
They look great.
All right. So today we're going to talk about how to launch a supplement offer. And we're going to focus on what I personally believe and professionally believe is the most important part of launching a supplement offer that for whatever reason it gets overlooked. But it's super, super, super important. So about me, how did I get here? I've been in and around the supplement industry in some way, shape, or form for about 11 years at this point. And the big turning point for me was when I learned I would never walk again at the age of 26. It's all good. I'm walking and running around now, but that's what got me here. So for a little context, at the time, I was a health and fitness coach in Hollywood. I was working with actors, models, singers, even world champion esports players. I actually was the personal health coach, fitness coach, trainer, and nutrition coach for a world champion Call of Duty team that trained out of Justin Bieber's old mansion in the Hollywood Hills. You can't make this stuff up. Anyway, at that time, my brain-gut connection got severed. I developed a functional gut condition, meaning the doctors couldn't see anything wrong, but there was very much something wrong. I became allergic to pretty much every food on the planet, never had a food intolerance a day in my life before the age of 25. My digestive system stopped working. I was in pain no matter what I did or didn't eat. All the blood tests were negative. The next step was stomach cancer. It wasn't that. So the doctor's like, you're on your own. So I had to help myself. So I used my nutrition and supplement knowledge. I researched more using that background. And I created my own supplement program on myself and healed myself without a doctor and reversed every single food intolerance with the exception of alcohol. My body still doesn't make the enzyme that breaks it down anymore, but everything else I completely reversed and back to normal. So a couple of months after that, I'd finally gotten back into the gym and I had a training accident. I injured my leg and I should have been healed in like 6 to 8 weeks. I was actually really excited because I knew how to heal it. Long story short, months and months go by and everything is seriously wrong. So without going into the specifics of what was happening, I developed an ultra rare, chronic, and incurable neurological nerve condition called reflexive sympathetic dystrophy. It is the most painful chronic pain condition in the world. In fact, according to the McGill Pain Index, which is the index that doctors use to measure the level of their patient's pain, it's actually objectively more painful than both childbirth and amputation. It's absolutely excruciating. So what happened was my nerves had hijacked my brain and they were sending permanent pain signals to my pain receptors. So it felt like every bone in my foot all the way up through my knee was both shattered and on fire at the exact same time. And I was losing the use of both of my hands to irreversible nerve damage. And they wanted me to take, doctors wanted me to take all these really dangerous prescriptions. They wanted me to do spinal taps, but I couldn't even do that, even though I didn't want to, because the doctors actually didn't get back to me. It was like the universe was calling out to me again, Sam, you just healed yourself with something the doctors couldn't help you with a couple months ago. Why not do it again? So I created my own supplement program on myself and healed myself without a doctor and taught myself how to walk again without a physical therapist. However, that was just the beginning of what got me to this point. So one of the symptoms of RSD is atrophy. So I lost about 70+% of the muscle mass in my left leg within a couple months. It looked like it actually belonged to a child. So I ended up actually being injured for 1.5 years straight after I healed myself and taught myself to walk again because my body had broken down so much. And at that time, I was actually starting my first copy business and it really started taking off. At the time, I was writing email copy for health and fitness businesses. And between, being in chronic pain every single day, having a new business, navigating that, managing and interfacing with clients, financial pressures, all these different things, stress started to take over and literally shut down my body. I had also suffered, another fun fact, I've suffered from insomnia or some sort of sleep problem since I was 10. And my sleep was even worse. Like I'd be in bed for about 11 to 13 hours a night just to maybe get 5 hours of sleep total. I was 27. My body stopped producing testosterone. My digestive system stopped working again. My immune system stopped working. I get a cold every other week, or if I got a flu, instead of it lasting 10 days, it would last 6 weeks. And all of my muscles actually stopped working as well. They literally stopped supporting my body because stress had shut it down so much, and the awful sleep made everything worse. So I was like, okay, dude, you brought yourself back from, the seemingly untreatable, incurable twice before with supplements. Do it again. So I dove into the research and I actually ended up creating our products, XL PM, which is our natural sleep support and nighttime stress support supplement, and XL, our daily stress support, on myself with no intention of them becoming products. I just formulated these things on myself that I knew were going to help, that I knew based on the research were going to be the things that would bring me back. And they did bring me back. And then, for the next few years, I was writing copy in the supplement space for a bunch of multi 7, 8, 9-figure supplement companies that you all know well. And that was how the XL supplement line, XL PM and XL was truly born. I realized that I had created these things on myself that had such a profound effect on my life, and I had this background in supplement marketing and direct response. I have the ability to reach a lot of people now, help a lot of people with these products. So what do I do now? So I'm the co-owner, co-founder of Health and Happiness Labs, where we have our XL supplement line, XL PM, and XL. And I also run my own supplement consulting company where I help supplement business owners and offer owners formulate new products, new SKUs. And I also help first-time supplement offer owners. These have been people ranging from doctors to successful info product owners who are looking to expand their business, to service providers, whether they're media buyers or copywriters, affiliates, what have you, who are looking to start their first supplement offer. I help them with everything from formulation to launch. So the formulation, manufacturing, fulfillment, compliance, all of that stuff, so they can bring their supplement dreams to life. So why do I do what I do? Supplements quite literally saved my life, and I've seen them do the same for other people too, a lot of other people. And they are quite literally medicine when they're done the right way, and they should be treated accordingly. I don't mean to get political, but I saw something today. There's actually a bill in the state of California to ban the sale of supplements in stores, and to make fines for selling nutritional supplements, even worse than those for selling alcohol and tobacco. While the federal government is actually trying to make health insurance cover certain nutritional supplements, which is something I've been championing for years. But anyway, I say all of that because they're literally medicine when they're done right, and they need to be treated accordingly. So during my copy career, I saw a lot of offers that did well, obviously. And some of those were really good products that were really done right. And the companies also had their marketing dialed in. But I saw even more supplement offers in this space that did really well. Their copy was great. Their traffic, their media buying was optimized and all that. But when it came to the quality of their products, I mean, I cringed. And I do what I do because based on my experiences, both the health challenges that I've overcome, as well as my supplement marketing background, I really feel it's my duty, my responsibility, and my obligation to help business owners and aspiring supplement offer owners get the best quality products out there in the market, because it's really, really important, and you can change a lot of lives. And we're gonna get into all of the ways and reasons why that's so important in just a bit. So how to start a supplement offer? There is, like Anna kind of touched on, there's a lot more that goes into it than people think. A lot of people think, oh, well, I just need to write a copy, put up a funnel,
right,
and I need to pick what kind of supplement I'm going to sell, and that's really it. That's not true. You've got manufacturing, fulfillment, label design, which is a lot more important than you would think. FDA compliance, which actually goes hand in hand with label design. You want to have Nutra experienced mids because these are ingestible products that you're selling. There's a higher level of risk inherent there, and you want to make sure you have merchant processors who are comfortable with and experienced in the Nutra industry, in the supplement industry, because you don't want to get your mid shut down, but you also don't want to have rates that are exorbitantly high and just really eat into your margins, especially when you're doing running CPA and other forms of paid media and stuff like that. And dietary supplement insurance kind of goes without saying. Again, these are ingestible products that you are selling people that they will be putting in their bodies. And yes, your manufacturer and your fulfillment partner will have insurance that to a degree you may be able to piggyback off of, but you want to have your own. One of my accountants actually told me a story once about a client that they had where I think it was some sort of nutrition bar, and they had a kosher halal certification on the wrapper, but there was one minor ingredient that actually didn't meet the certification, and they didn't have their own insurance. They were just using the manufacturers or something like that, and they ended up owing $10 to $15 million simply because they didn't pay the $2,400 a year for their own insurance. And we're going to go through a good amount of this stuff in just a bit. So once you've determined what kind of supplement you're going to sell, what kind of supplement you're going to make, you have a very, very important decision ahead of you. So to white label on demand or not to white label on demand, that is the question. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they're trying to launch a supplement, especially first-time supplement offer owners, is the idea that their only option is to white label on demand, when that simply isn't the case. Now they can white label on demand, but they don't have to. And in just a second, I'm going to go into the reasons and situations why that might make sense and when it might not make sense. So if you're not familiar with that term, white labeling on demand is this. There are companies that have they've created kind of these generic formulas. They have a catalog of them. So they're in massive, massive bulk. They'll say, pick which one you want. We'll throw your label on it. We'll fulfill it and ship it out for you. And you just pay us on demand. You pay us whenever you make a sale. Sounds great, right? Well, there are pros and cons to this approach. So situations where it does make sense to go white label on demand, one is if you're seriously low on cash. So, if you're eager to get your supplement off the ground, but you just don't have the money to invest in inventory or formulation, and you want to, or you do, but you want to invest the money in other areas, whether it's your copy, if it's consultants, if it's hiring a spokesperson, whatever it may be. There are actually ways around inventory, excessive inventory investments and formulation investments that we'll go through later in this presentation. But if that's you, then maybe going white label on demand could be a fit because it could allow you to have a product and not have to worry about upfront cash investments. Just a little personal aside, if you're seriously low on cash, probably starting a brand new offer in the supplement space may not be the best move. So you may want to wait a little bit. But that is one scenario in which going white label on demand makes sense. Another is if you're just looking for proof of concept. So there are some people who don't want to invest in launching a supplement until they know they say absolute certainty, but as we know in direct response, there's no such thing as truly absolute certainty, but having as much certainty as they can that their product will sell to their existing audience or to cold traffic. Like I said, a good amount of the supplement consulting clients I work with, they want to start supplements to complement their info businesses. And so they want to make sure that what they're going to create is already going to be resonating with their list so that they can have built-in buyers. However, there is another proof of concept strategy that takes way less time and is way less expensive. In fact, it's actually free. So the alternative proof of concept strategy that I recommend to people is a simple email or Facebook group survey to your existing audience. If you don't already have your own list or your own Facebook group, but you have contacts or people in your network who will be mailing out for you who do have your audience, you could speak with them about running the survey there. It's really, really simple. All it is, it's a basic survey. Let's say, for example, you have 3 different types of supplements that you're considering making. You would have the price the same for all of them across the board, so that price is not a factor. It's not a variable. It's the control, right? So you'd say, I'm thinking about making a supplement to help you with X for this price. Would you buy it? Yes or no? I'm looking to make a supplement. We're thinking about making a supplement that can help you with Y. It'll be this price. Would you buy this? Yes or no? That's it. And when you do that to your email list, your Facebook group, or whatever other traffic channels you have access to for your audience, that can give you a really good sense of whether or not your proof of concept will be, makes sense and will come to fruition, because people will have already told you literally yes or no if they want to buy this product from you or not.
Such a good idea, because and people are going to be inclined to be honest too, right? Because you haven't spent the money to create the offer, so you're really asking them before. So it's
exactly, yeah, and you don't have to go through all the bells and whistles of trying to launch a new offer in the event that you want to go that route.
Right. Awesome.
But there are also downsides to going white label on demand, and this is something we're going to talk a lot about. The main one being you don't have control over your formulation, right? You're literally picking a generic formulation from a catalog that a lot of other people are using, and you're just putting your own label on it. You actually had no say. You had no role in the creation of that product whatsoever, except you pointed at something in a catalog and said, just put my label on this, right? So because of that, that formulation is likely not optimized and customized for your specific audience, for your specific customers, and the pain points you're looking to help them solve, the way you're looking to solve them. So to use our supplements from Health and Happiness, for example, the research that I did, and this includes research from places like Stanford and Oxford, turns out that the exact same hormones that get released in the brain that set off the stress response and make us stressed out are literally the same ones that actually keep us from falling asleep at night, the same ones that keep us from staying asleep at night, the ones that make our mind race and actually significantly decrease how much REM sleep and deep sleep we get every night. So what did I do on myself? I found ingredients and ways to block those hormones, or that we call them sleep blockers, from actually getting released, right? A traditional sleep support, generic sleep support supplement is not going to do that, right? As a result, that formulation, if you're going white label on demand, likely will lack market differentiators. You won't be able to stand out in a crowded market. And within that, finding a unique mechanism, a truly unique mechanism for your copy becomes much more difficult. Another thing that you want to bear in mind there is, because this is part of a catalog, there are going to be a lot of other offer owners in the supplement space who will have the exact same formula as you. And especially if you're in a really crowded vertical, a really crowded type of supplement that you're going to be selling, it just makes things, it's like you're just fighting even more of an uphill battle, right? Because you're just using the same formula that a lot of other people are using, and it's not really doing you any good. Another thing to bear in mind is, if it can be 3 different things, 5 different things, it's none of them. So the way a lot of these white label catalogs work is they will have a certain type of supplement as a header. Let's say weight loss, for example, or gut health. And then they'll have a list of their different pre-made blends that they've named, and then you can choose from those. However, there's overlap, right? So like formula A may be under mood support. It may be under immunity support. It may be under gut health, and who knows what else. So yes, the nerd in me says yes, you could make potentially an argument that because 70% of the immune system is housed in the gut, that a gut health product could be an immune product and vice versa, or an energy product. But the reality is, if you're truly creating like the best gut health product you can, or the best immune health product, or energy, whatever the type of supplement is, you want to make sure it's truly designed to solve that exact problem, right? Because from my perspective, if you're saying, oh, well, this could easily be sold as 5 different types of supplements, then from my perspective, it's not any of those supplements. Because if you're going to sell even one kind of supplement, it has to be designed specifically for that purpose. So why are formulations so important? In my personal and professional opinion, it's the first, second, and third concern when launching a supplement offer, whether it's your first offer or your 15th. There's a lot of supplements out there that have great marketing and have really good formulations, and they get good results from their customers. But there's also a lot of supplements out there that have great marketing. They scale like crazy, but their formulations are seriously lacking. And this is a really, really big problem. So I'm about to share what may be a controversial opinion. I don't mean anything. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers. This is just how I personally feel from my experiences in my life with my health challenges, as well as my experiences working with some of the biggest names in the supplement industry in direct response. And that's that. Like, look, I'm a capitalist, right? I am all about making money and making as much money as I can, just like we all are. But I want to do that by actually helping people and adding genuine value to people's lives. If I'm not adding genuine value, I don't want any financial compensation in return. There's a lot of formulations out there that, quite frankly, I think some of these companies are stealing from people. They know that their products will cost, some of them are as low as like $1.50, $2 a bottle, and they'll sell them for like serious, like even greater than the 4 to 8x markups that most supplement products sell at. Most supplement products sell between 4 to 8 times whatever your cost of goods plus shipping are. Those are your typical margins. And I'm all about feeding your family and your team's family. But if you have products that aren't going to get people the results you're claiming, and yet you're selling them at all, let alone at the prices that some of them are, that's a huge issue. And my controversial opinion is that, if you're only if you only want to make money, and that's perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you're only your only motivation for starting an offer is to make money and that's it, please choose a different type of offer. That's all I ask. Please don't make a supplement, because we have a responsibility to help as many people as we can, as much as we can. And many supplements out there help people, but there are also many that don't help people, and some that actually even harm people. I won't name any names, but I've seen them out there and I know they exist. So if you don't want to truly help people too, on top of making a lot of money, then please pick a different type of offer, because these are supplements. This is people's health, people's lives we're talking about here. I shouldn't even need to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway, just because I've just seen this too many times. It's not worth it for you or your customers to do that if you don't want to genuinely, truly help them as well. But you can have really, really great win-win situations that help you grow your business and help your customers' lives improve at the same time. So that kind of touches on the first one of the problems with the average or subpar formulas. And that's simply that those products aren't making the difference they can make, right? As someone who's literally saved his life and his health multiple times with supplements, and I've seen the same happen for many other people, I take this very, very seriously, and you should too. We have a responsibility to make a difference. And when you have products that aren't up to snuff, you're not able to make the difference that you can make with your products. And kind of to expand on that, given how talented we all are at marketing, at copy, at sales, at traffic, customer acquisition, all of it, we have the ability to literally reach millions of people. It's your responsibility. It's our responsibility as an industry, as a collective, to use our powers for good, so we can change thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of lives for the better. I was talking with Craig Clemens from Golden Hippo the beginning of last year, pre-COVID, in January of 2020, and he was talking about how when you can crack cold traffic, you can change the world. He didn't say when you can crack cold traffic, you can make a bunch of money, which is also true. You very much can when you can crack cold traffic. But he said when you can crack cold traffic, you can change the world. Because as long as you truly, truly believe in your product, what you're putting out there, there's no limit to how successful you can be when you're able to crack cold traffic. So I actually have a personal experience with everything that Craig was saying. So I don't know how accurate these stats are, but I believe if you're on like auto ship or subscribe and save, basically supplement continuity, the average retention rate, stick rate, is somewhere between 2 to 4 months. So a few years ago, my mom was watching a video. It was a Golden Hippo VSL, not knowing it was a VSL. She realized that the problems they were talking about were problems that she actually had been struggling with. So she bought the product, and to this day, like 4 years later, my mom has been on auto ship and continuity with Golden Hippo on that product literally every month for the last 4 years, because it makes that much of a difference in her life. And I actually have products myself, a couple of products that I've been on continuity every month for the last 4 or 5 years, right? That's insane. The reason why? Because those products make such a profound impact and difference on my life, right? And obviously, there's a lot that can do for your business, which we'll touch on shortly. So, if you skimp on formulations or getting the product done right, you're selling yourself short. So you're not only selling yourself short, you're selling your customers short too. And here's why. One, your supplement company, your brand, and there is a difference there that we could get into, won't grow to the level it could. It won't grow to the level it can. And you're basically putting a ceiling on how successful your supplement company, your supplement brand, or your supplement offer can be. And we've touched on this a little bit already, but you won't be able to help as many people as you're capable of helping if your products aren't getting the results that people deserve, that your customers deserve. And as a result of not being able to help as many people as you're capable of helping, you, from a business perspective, you won't make as much money as you're capable of making, right? So higher quality products lead to better results for your customers. Better results for your customers leads to more reorders, more rebills. More reorders and rebills leads to higher customer lifetime value. And as we know, technically I'm in the supplement industry. Technically I'm in the health industry or the health business. But as we all know in direct response, the fact of the matter is when you look at it operationally at our core, we're in the customer acquisition business, right? So the more we can spend to acquire a customer as a result of having a higher customer lifetime value, the more customers we can bring into our world, right? The more we can grow our business. Just a quick side note. I don't get anything from this, but if you have any issues with tracking LTV, or you wanna level that up, just send me a message or an email, and I can connect you with one of my business partners he's a former NASA software engineer who created an absolutely incredible customer LTV tracking and analysis software. But anyway, the whole point is, right, the higher quality products, the more you have, the more people are going to reorder your products, which means you're going to have a higher LTV, which means you can spend more to acquire a customer, which means you can acquire more customers, right? And as a result of that, the more money your supplement makes overall, the longer you can stay in business, right? Because there's a lot of supplement offers that maybe they'll last for like a year, good ones for a couple of years, but like, what if you could last longer than that? What if you could actually create something that's sustainable over time, because you're bringing in so many people? And even if you're not bringing in a ton of people, the people you're bringing in, they keep reordering. They keep reordering. That lifetime value just keeps going up because you're giving them such a great experience and providing such great results for them with your products, right? So when I work with someone, I don't like to this is my rule. I don't get behind something unless I feel comfortable personally taking it myself and putting it in my own body. Because to me, that should be the litmus test, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm all about win-win situations. And this is the ultimate win-win situation, because your income increases as your customer lifetime value increases. Yet all of that stuff that is, building your business, your bank account, your ability to support your family and your team's families, while all that's going on, your customer's quality of life increases at the exact same time. I mean, it's amazing. It's incredible. It's a win-win. Every single person in that scenario is winning. So kind of touched on this with my conversation with Craig Clemens, but Eben Pagan, who's a 9-figure entrepreneur, said something several years ago that really stuck with me. He said, if you start a business, and this is about long-term, right? He said, if you start a business just to make money, you'll fail, and you'll fail miserably. If you start a business to create a good product or service, you can be successful, sometimes very successful. But if you start a business to genuinely change people's lives for the better, there is no limit to how successful you can be. I'm going to read that last line again. If you start a business to genuinely change people's lives for the better, there is no limit to how successful you can be. It's not a coincidence that Golden Hippo and BioTrust are $400+ million a year companies, growing every day. It's not a coincidence. They put the product first, they put their people first, and their customers first, and it shows, right? So from my perspective, personal and professional, the ultimate competitive advantage in the supplement industry when you're launching a supplement offer is really, really simple, and yet for whatever reason, some folks overlook it and others don't. And that's just having a higher quality product, right? Doesn't need to be the most expensive product, just it needs to be something that's really going to work and going to work well for whatever problem or pain point you're trying to help your customers solve. So the higher quality your product is, as we kind of talked about, the more people you can attract. So using Health and Happiness, my company, and our XLPM and XL products as examples, there's a reason why the doctor who won Functional Medicine Doctor of the Year and Regenerative Medicine Practice of the Year takes both of our supplements every morning, every night. There's a reason he endorses them publicly. There's a reason he recommends them to his patients, when that's literally part of his job, to recommend nutraceuticals to his patients to help them address the root cause of some of the issues and struggles they're having. There's a reason why people in direct response industry have told me that our products are the only ones that they will take and the only ones they'll share with the people they love. Now, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not saying this to, talk about how great I think my products are, although I do take them both every morning and every night without fail. I'm telling you this because I want you to think about something for a second, okay? Imagine what kind of impact this could have on your supplement company, your brand, if hundreds, thousands, or even millions of people are singing your product's praises like this. It's just, it does all the selling for you. It's like built-in marketing. and social proof. And yet it's all real people whose lives are really changing. Craig also mentioned something. He ran us through. We were at an event afterwards, and he ran us through an exercise where, like, you're imagining, close your eyes and imagine, a Super Bowl stadium full of people. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and more of these stadiums full of people who are all just singing your praises about how much your product has changed their life, and how many more people those people know that they're going to tell about your product. Oh, you're struggling with sleep too? Oh, you got to try this. Oh, you're having digestive issues too? You got to try this, right? When you have, that's when you can really scale, because in addition to all your paid marketing efforts, you have these organic efforts just simply from your own tribe singing your praises that much. And when that happens, your reach, your income, your impact, they all skyrocket. And if you look at what entrepreneurs truly are, the definition is not people just looking to make money. We all want to make money. That goes, like, we all know that, right? But an entrepreneur at their core is a problem solver, right? They're trying to create a solution to a problem. So how many people you can reach, how much money you're able to make to create the life you want for yourself and your family, and to help support your team's families as well, the amount of impact you're able to create in the world to really benefit others, all of those things skyrocket when you have a high quality product. So real quick, so once you have your formulation dialed in, you go through the RFQs from manufacturers. Just like in direct response, there's a lot of 3-letter acronyms in the supplement industry. So RFQs are requests for quotes. So you'll get requests for costing quotes from different manufacturers to find who's going to be the best fit for you, what types of raw materials, meaning like the actual ingredients that are going into your formulations, they have, what their MOQs are. MOQs are minimum order quantities. Most manufacturers require a minimum of 4,000 to 5,000 units per order. I work with some that they can get down to 2,000, I think, or less, and then you can go all the way up to 20,000, 50,000 units when you're really, really scaling, right? And getting your purchase order placed, and we'll get into some of that in a second too. And then after you have your formulation dialed in, you have your manufacturer picked, and there are some manufacturers. Most manufacturers can do every type of supplement, but some I've found are better with capsules, whereas others I prefer for powders, with like the natural flavors that they can create and the way that they can actually mask the taste of certain ingredients blended together and things like that. So then the next thing is inventory and fulfillment, right? So we kind of touched on this earlier. The appeal of white label on demand for first-time supplement offer owners is that there's no cash upfront for inventory, which I totally understand, because depending on a question I get a lot is, how much is a supplement going to cost? Well, I couldn't fully answer that because there are a lot of variables, right? You have your formulation itself. How many ingredients are in there? What kinds of ingredients? Within those certain kinds of ingredients, are any of them going to be branded ingredients? So you can leverage some of their studies and marketing and their credibility. Those are going to be a little bit more expensive. What are the dosages of the ingredients that you're going to need? What are your MOQs? Are you ordering 5,000 units, 10,000, 20,000? Are you doing a smaller test and you're doing 2,000, right? All of those factor in. But it can get, a first run of inventory can go anywhere from, depending on how many units you're buying, $8,000-9,000 up to 150 if you're buying 10,000, 20,000 units of like a really, really expensive formulation or product that's expensive to make relatively. Right. So there's a huge range, but it's also a lot of money, right? That you could be investing in other parts of your business. So, one of the things that I always tell my supplement consulting clients is my job is to eliminate as many headaches from you as possible, so you can focus on the stuff that you do best, but we can still get this supplement offer off the ground. And I tell them there are ways around this inventory cash upfront problem. The solution is to find what I call comprehensive fulfillment partners. So from my perspective, a comprehensive fulfillment partner, they don't just ship out and fulfill your products. They offer complementary services that can help make your life easier. And like what I try to do for my consulting clients, eliminate as many headaches as possible so you can focus on what you do best, right? So within that, try to find comprehensive fulfillment partners who are willing to offer on-demand support or inventory support. This is one of the things that I also help my clients with. When you have the right relationships and contacts, you can make this happen. So what is inventory support or on-demand support? From my perspective, it's the best of both worlds between white labeling on demand and having a high quality product. What this means is the fulfillment partner, like I said, if you have the right relationships, track record, etc., they can purchase the inventory on your behalf. So you don't have to spend a single penny on inventory, and you still only pay on demand. You only pay whenever you make a sale or at the end of the month when you get your bill from your fulfillment partner. Only difference being, they may mark up the cost of goods by $1 just so they can make a little bit of margin on having invested in your inventory in your business on your behalf. But given the fact, as I kind of mentioned earlier, that supplements typically sell from anywhere between 4 to 8 times what your cost of goods plus shipping equals, you have plenty of room in your margin for that extra dollar. So as this is going on, kind of in tandem, you can be creating your marketing assets, your funnel, your copy, stuff like that. And obviously compliance is a big thing. And in the supplement industry, compliance is more than just your copy. Goes without saying, you want to make sure that you're being FDA and FTC compliant. And within that, you want to cite your sources, just like you're back in school. But you want to make sure that your studies line up, right? So by that, I mean studies to support certain claims need to use dosages equal to or greater than what you have in your formula. So I'll give you an example of what that means. So let's say you're trying, you're selling, like, let's say an energy supplement, right? And you're trying to find a study that says ingredient X, boosts energy like this. And you find a study that says, oh, ingredient X boosts energy like this. Perfect. But that study used 400 milligrams. And your product only has 125. Well, then you're going to want to find another study that uses 125 milligrams or less, so that your numbers actually match up.
Really good point.
And as I had said kind of a second ago, compliance in the supplement industry is a lot more than just your copy, and a big part of it is labels. What you can and can't say on labels, the way things are laid out. There's even you need to check on this, but I think there's even a new rule that says branded ingredients may not be allowed in supplement fact panels, like the ingredients list anymore, which is kind of ironic because companies invest in branded ingredients because it lends more credibility to their formula and the quality of the product and things like that. But it's also why, because these things are always changing, it's also why when I work with my supplement consulting clients, I also work with the top FDA compliance expert in the industry, just to make sure everything is always above board, because the last thing you want is to have something like this where you're not covered. There's other kinds of documentation, things like called substantiation files, that you can invest in or create, which is basically for a certain number of claims that you're going to be making with your supplement. You'll have studies like what I mentioned that completely back up every claim you have. In the event that the FDA comes, you can say, hey, look, I have these substantiation files. Another thing that you would want to do, you get from the manufacturer, something called MMR, which is Master Manufacturing Records. It's essentially documents saying whatever we say is in this formulation is actually in this batch, so that everything is fully covered and above board. Once you have that handled, then you can go through the MIDS acquisition process, getting your merchant processors. That process typically only takes a couple of weeks when you're working with the right merchant brokers who have the contacts in the nutraceutical industry who are experienced with supplements. And then after that, you finish creating your marketing assets, your copy, your funnel. You secure your traffic, like with the amazing team over at MaxWeb. And then you start running the traffic, and then you're off to the races and testing and optimizing and doing what you can to grow your offer. So if you have any questions about anything or want to chat about anything, you can just find me on Facebook, or you can email me at sam@healthandhappinesslabs.com, all one word. And I'm happy to help answer any questions that you might have, or help in any way that I can.
How great. Sam, if you don't mind, I'll ask someone from the team to, actually add your email to the thread, because then it's going to be super easy for everyone to copy and send you an email.
Oh, perfect.
We'll do that. Oh my gosh, so much great information, and I'm so grateful you touch based on the fulfillment side, but also compliance, right? Because the example with the study and the milligrams was paramount. We've seen it so many times where really good product owners were not very careful with the studies, and it cost everyone a lot of hassle on the traffic and everything else. So I'm so glad that you gave us,
Yeah, it's really important. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not flashy. But it's important, and especially with the direction that I feel direct response is headed, and I think for good reasons. I'm actually really excited about this. I know compliance can be difficult at times. It can make things challenging for us on the marketing side and on the traffic side. But the reality is, it's there for a reason, and it's there to make sure that people have a positive experience and that people aren't misled. So, we want to do things the right way. So that it's really important to have that stuff in there. And there's so much more that goes into it than what I just touched on briefly. But yeah, it's important to address for sure.
I agree. And I really want to say this because, Sam made such a good point, and I agree. We're capitalists. We love to make money. It's normal, right? We're business people. But that has never, excluded the fact that we need to be good people that sell good products, right? People confuse. I mean, I'm such a proud, CEO of an affiliate network. We are all about, making flashy ads and, writing those quizzes that really get people to click. And that's okay. Being a really good marketer and using all the tricks in the book to market your product, that's fine. But the basis, the product, should be something that's good, and it's something that people actually get benefits from buying, right? So we're not saying don't be a great marketer and use tricks to sell.
Right. Well, that's why I personally believe that, like, the biggest company in our space is Golden Hippo. They have world-class copy paired with world-class products, and they really care. It's that simple. It's why my mom's been on one of their products every month for the last 4 years. Not because it doesn't help her, because it makes a really big impact in her life and her health.
100%, right? So I know a lot of our affiliates, actually a few of them switched to being product owners the last 2 years. And that's because it always seems like so much easier for the product owners, right? And naturally, the same way product owners think being an affiliate is easy, right? Just buy the traffic, just create the blogs, that's it. So if you don't mind, let's, break it down and go back to the first step. I'm John, I'm an affiliate, but I want to start a supplements business. Should I first think about, writing the content, or should I start researching fulfillment houses?
You're saying if this is an affiliate who wants to become a supplement offer owner, I would do neither of those things first, actually. First, I would determine what sort of product you're going to sell. And part of that is where you're going to sell it, right? So like I said, if you're an affiliate, you already have your own email lists, you can run surveys or blog-based surveys to those, or survey-based blogs, to those lists. If you already have, info products, mail out to your existing list or your Facebook groups. Or if you don't have a list, you don't have an info product, I can assure you that you have people in your network who will mail out for you, who have the customers that you're ultimately looking for. So I would actually determine what sort of product you're making first, what type of product you want to make first. Once you determine what kind of product you want to make, then that's why I focus so much time on formulation, because you have to actually get that formulation dialed in. Once it's dialed in, then you go to the manufacturer. You go to different manufacturers, get the requests for quotes so you can get the different prices, see what their MOQs are, their minimum order quantities. And then at that point, once you already have that stuff dialed in, you know what kind of product it is, the formulation is locked in, the manufacturer, or at least the two manufacturers you're kind of choosing between, or maybe more. You have that more or less dialed in. Then I would go to fulfillment partners, because there is a method to the madness, so to speak. And we want to do things in order, because if you're just creating content, it's like you can create content, that's great, but for all you know, you're going to be selling a completely different product in 3 months, right?
I love it. And I ask because, I've seen it all, and I've seen people that haven't, thought the process through well, and they started creating the funnels and the videos, and they spend a lot of money on, a great VSL. And then they realize that, well, wait a minute, my actual ingredients should have been different.
Well, that's another reason why I do what I do, right? So my goal with my consulting business is to eliminate my clients' headaches, as many headaches as I possibly can, so that they can focus on the stuff that they that they do best and that they want to do. Some of them I help guide them and advise them and teach them. In some cases, I do a little bit of that, plus actually just doing a lot of the work for them, kind of done for you, so to speak, so that they can just kind of get everything off the ground. But it's important because when I spent years writing copy in the supplement industry, and I had a supplement coaching background before I even got into marketing on the health side of things. And yet starting my first supplement company was, there were some growing pains, right? There's a lot more involved than people think. But I didn't do it completely on my own. Fortunately, I had a guide and mentor who helped show me the way. And I was like, wow, like this was so powerful. This was so helpful. And then I had clients of mine on the copy side. I was writing their supplement copy. They were launching their products for the first time, and they actually needed my help in getting their supplements off the ground. And so that's actually how I got into the consulting part of it. Is I started helping my copy clients get their supplements made, dial in the formulations, help them with all the stuff that I help my clients' supplements.
Right. This is great. If you don't mind, let's take a few questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I love. I always love good questions. All right. So, John, how much does it cost to start a supplement business?
That is such a loaded question. It's a good question, but it's a loaded question because it depends on so many different factors, right? Like if you're white labeling on demand, and you're not creating your own formulation, you're not partnering with a specific fulfillment partner, you're just having everything fulfilled by that white label on demand service. You could be spending, your costs could be, you're going to spend $2,400 for a year, roughly for a year of dietary supplement insurance. Supplement label reviews for FDA compliance are about $300, $400. Then you'll have, your whatever your marketing costs are, right, for funnel copy and funnel creation, that sort of thing. It depends on whether or not, you're going to have a paid spokesperson endorsing, being the face of your brand. There's so many different factors. And versus if you're like, I have clients who they pay for their inventory 100% themselves, right? They place the purchase orders themselves. I also have clients who they want to go the inventory support route where the inventory is covered for them, which can obviously take a lot of pressure off and also allow a lot more resources to be put towards things like spokespeople, VSL creation, or other kind of whatever guidance they need or whatever, things like that. So there's a really big range. I wish I could give a specific range of what it costs, but it just depends on so many different factors and the direction someone is specifically taking.
Well, that's a good start, though. I mean, even having that $2,400 a year, if you want to go the easy route, it's helpful to know. And it really ties in with Adam's question. Sam, how much do you estimate budget for a doctor endorsement of a supplement brand?
So that can vary. So for me, I had the good fortune of so the award-winning doctor who takes our supplements and endorses them. He was actually a former copy client of mine, and he is a functional medicine, regenerative medicine specialist, and he and I just hit it off from our very first conversation because I basically healed myself using the same methods that he would of functional medicine, natural regenerative practices. So we actually already had a relationship, and he started trying the supplements, and he made us a video endorsing the products and saying that he would recommend them to his patients. So that was my personal situation. It depends on who you're going after, right? Like if it's a celebrity doctor, like they have, like hypothetically, if you're going after, like, let's say like a Dr. Oz or someone who's huge, that's going to be a very different conversation than many other doctors out there. There's different ways to go about it. One is just a flat fee. You'd be surprised at how many physicians for like $5,000, which in the grand scheme of things isn't all that much, especially if you're scaling, would be willing to do that. Maybe 10,000. Another way that you can do it is like a per bottle royalty, right? So, like 50 cents a bottle or something like that. Or you can do a combination of like if it's like a bigger name doctor or like a really, really credible individual, and you're like, I want to give this person as much as I can, then you could do something like a flat fee plus maybe a per bottle royalty as well.
Awesome. I like that. And I can confirm from working with, wonderful product owners in our space, flat fees work, right? And I'm putting Michelle's comment up here too, because she had an endorsement with a doctor and he was doing like 85 per unit or $1. That works also, but we've seen flat fees, like Sam said, even $10,000. And I know it sounds like, high amounts. However, in the long scheme of things, if your offer is good and you have the traffic, you're going to be happy if you negotiated to have a flat fee rather than, every sale.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it this way, right? Like, yes, they have world-class copy and they have world-class products. That goes without saying. But Golden Hippo would look very different if Dr. Stephen Gundry was not their spokesperson. It was just someone else, right? With their Beverly Hills MD brand. If it was just someone, even if it was just whatever kind of some doctor from I don't know, from a small town in Iowa, for example, it's not gonna have nearly the same effect as having Dr. Stephen Gundry or one of the top doctors in Beverly Hills, right?
Absolutely. I completely agree. Jonathan, what are some example of meat brokers? Great question, because we touch base upon a lot of things, but not processing, right? So if you're trying to sell something online, you have to be able to process the payments online, right?
Yeah, we touched on it briefly. When you mean examples, you mean like people? So what the brokers are just, they're people who have relationships with all of these different sized banks who do processing for e-commerce businesses in different industries specifically, and you want to work with people who have relationships which that are in the nutraceutical space, because like I said, they are ingestible products, so there's a higher amount of risk involved, and you don't want to deal with obviously you don't want to deal with chargebacks, and you also don't want to deal with processing rates that are even higher and tearing into your margins even more.
Yep, exactly. And Jonathan, like on top of my head, I know one. It's called getpayment.com. If you go to that website, I know it specifically because they help a lot of product owners. What they do, they help you get processing, right? Because
yeah. There's a good amount of people out there. There's a couple of guys that I work with too.
And we can introduce you to someone because you have that, which is a great safe route. But if you want, you can get payment processing online using, companies like Buy Goods or ClickBank or people that do that for you, right?
The only thing with that though is that their rates are exponentially higher. So
right.
like, for instance, like we were comparing rates between, I think it was like 3.5% and like 3.8%. But some of those other platforms are 7.5% to 10%.
Right.
And that's something to bear in mind as well. It's like, yeah, you may not need to, acquire the merchants yourself, but it's really not that hard when you're working with a merchant broker. It's actually pretty darn easy. It's actually really easy. And there's nothing against those platforms. They're both good platforms. I know people at both of those companies. They do really awesome stuff. And for some offer owners, they're a perfect fit. But you also have to bear in mind, what are your other costs and how much more are you willing to take off of your margins?
Yep, absolutely. I'll take this next one quickly. Tuheen, he was asking about for promoting supplements offer, which type of landing page are best? Where Sam's offer actually has a really good landing page. So, we take a look at that. Usually on our campaign page, if you look at the first, the first page, you're going to see 10 really strong offers. Sam is going to be one of them. You can get a feel of the type of landing pages that customers like, right? And how much money you should be spending if you want to test an offer on PPC search campaign. It depends on the offer to hit. Your account manager at MaxWeb will give you the best offer that's going to be good for PPC, right? But let's pretend you're going to start with X offer, $50, $100. Don't go crazy. Even with native, I usually tell super affiliates to have a cap of like $500 because you should know fairly easy if an offer is going to convert or not, right? So you can ping me after the podcast. I hate for anyone to think we're ignoring them. But we can really specifically help with this question on this end, on MaxWeb then, right? So, Adam, drop Sam's offer link. Absolutely. We will share that with you guys in the comments, and we're very excited. It's such a good offer. It's a wonderful offer. I had 2 more questions for you, Sam, here. I wrote them down as people were them last night. So one of them was, hey Sam, my name is Mark. I am thinking about starting a supplements business. I am not a great copywriter. 1, do you think I should study and write the copy myself? Or 2, should I just pay someone to do it?
As someone who's been in the been a copywriter in the supplement space for years, I would say just pay someone, and here's why. When I first started studying copy and writing copy, I was studying and writing 7 days a week. I went through a really, really in-depth course, and I wrote my first VSL. And then what I did was I read 6 of the top copy books from the last 60, actually maybe probably the last 100 years, from scientific advertising and tested advertising methods, and some of Dan Kennedy's books and Joe Sugarman's books. And it's like over 2,000 pages, and I read them in about 5 weeks. And I literally hand copied I think 9 different full-length sales letters by hand, because it gets ingrained in your neural pathways deeper when you handwrite. And that was just to barely get my foundation, right? And then I studied and invested tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars on coaches and mentors and experience to get to my copy to the level that where it is, now, hypothetically. So in the amount of time it's going to take you to become a copywriter where you can write a high converting VSL or TSL in the supplement space, you could have launched multiple supplement offers many times over. So basically, it's a long-winded way of saying, in that situation, I would just invest in a copywriter.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And Mark, there's a beautiful community. We know so many good copywriters we can introduce you to. And I agree with Sam. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. I'm a huge fan of outsourcing if it's not your superpower. I always say this, right? We outsource if it's something we are, not phenomenal at, because there are brilliant people in our industry that have spent a long time getting to the point where they're impeccable at writing copy. So if you're good at the traffic side, which I know you are, you're going to focus on that, right? You keep focusing on
and that's exactly why I do what I do, right? Is to help people in that situation or in those situations do what they do best, and they can still get offers off the ground with really great copy and high quality products, and not have to really worry about banging their head against the wall. Like, am I doing the right thing? Like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Like, that's why I do what I do, so that those people, they don't have to worry about that stuff. Because when you have that proven kind of blueprint, it just makes things a lot easier, a lot more streamlined, a lot more effective.
Yep, I agree. Well, you guys, we are over the hour. I know we could be doing this for another hour, but now, Sam, you're just gonna have to come back. You'll have to join us on another podcast because, oh my gosh, so many comments. Sorry, guys. We have people listening into, and that was great. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, like I said, if you have any questions on about anything or want to connect on anything, just shoot me an email or message me on Facebook, and I'm happy to help however I can.
100%, and we will share Sam's email and his Facebook link and the offer. We'll put it all in the comments, because I know you guys like to have it there. So it's going to be super easy for you guys to reach out. And same with us. We're all here ready to help. This is an offer I'm very excited for. Right? I rarely say this unless we really believe in it. Not just because Sam is a really great human being. The product works. So imagine how beautiful it's going to be when we scale it. How many people we're going to help? There's
going to be a lot more people getting the sleep that they actually need, especially in crazy times like this.
No, I need it too. So sign me up. I'm a customer, right? Well, thank you, Sam, so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. And to everyone listening, thank you for being here with us. MaxWeb Podcast, episode 13. We love you. You are wonderful. And if you want to listen to this later, you can do it on Facebook or YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast. We will add all the links for you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sam.